Hello, brethren. Our Father is who He says He is. He is full of majesty, full of power, completely sovereign, omniscient, all-powerful, high and lifted up, and yet still very personal in His interactions with us. He's God. He is our Father. But yes, He is a friend. And I am often left in awe, in total astonishment at the discoveries that I find, the ways He communicates with me, and knowing it leaves me feeling completely and totally loved, a love I've never known. It's so higher than any love that man can give, and I'm honored. And with that said, this is all coming from August 3rd, which was yesterday, a dream or a quick vision I had at 4:18 in the morning. And then today He added more to it, and it just blew me away. You'll understand that in a minute. I saw myself climbing a mountain, and then I heard Him say, ascend. And the voice was so that it had me feeling so cared for, so comfort. It was such a comforting command. And ascend, I love words. I love to write down the different definitions for more clarity, for a deeper understanding. And ascend means to arise, to climb up, to come, to go, to move up, take off, soar, mount, rise up, scale, conquer. And some of those words God has given me over this last couple of years in Rhema words. I would just hear a word. And so it's also confirmation. And a mountain, I thought about mountains. We know what they are. They're high places. And that was all that I saw. Just me climbing, and I heard ascend. And immediately my mind went to the scriptures that say in Psalm 24, let me get it really quick for you. 24:3, I think. Who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, and who may stand in His holy place? And it goes on to say, he that has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. And it's an invitation. I always talk about intimacy with God and how He is inviting us to come up higher. And that's always a beautiful thought, that God is wanting us to come before Him. We can't come any kind of way, but the King has invited us to come up higher. And not just that, but today I left out, thought I was going to go for a walk, and just felt like I was supposed to come back home. And I lay down, and just in quietness, I began to remember something that I used to notice all the time. And it was, actually I would wake up all the time at 3:05 a.m. Over the years, this started back in early 2000s, and initially I just knew it was God's calling me to wake up, get up, and practice, become disciplined in listening and hearing and just sitting to see and praying. Sometimes it was that, and then I would go back to sleep. But then there was an incident He brought me to where I was out of town, and I stayed in a room that the number was 305. Now, I hadn't thought about that in forever. Now, I'm learning my gifting. I'm learning how God speaks to me in whether it's pictures, whether it's words, whether it's numbers. And this is not numerology, by the way. I won't even go into that, but I will say that God uses and can and does use all of his creation to speak, but we have to be listening. And he knows it takes us some time. So with that said, today I looked up 305 in the Greek Concordance, and that's something I just kind of started to do, like just playing around, like what, and then looking at scriptures with that same address. And 305, it just overwhelmed me again, the information. And when I looked it up, one of the first words I saw was ascend. I was floored. People of God, sometimes I say to myself, Chantel, you can't make this up. For those of you that don't know, my name is Chantel. Ruach Naim is a name that the Lord gave me. It has a meaning behind it. There's a video attached to that. But it means ascend, mount, rise, spring up, come up. And then I wrote, I'm in awestruck wonder. I am astounded. And I wept. I wept in awe. That's the only word, that's the only thing I can come up with, that I am completely, always enamored by the Lord and amazed. And I pray to never lose that childlike wonder that he wants us to have for him. And then I looked up, he led me to Psalm 30 and 5, and this is what tore me up. Yes, I said tore me up. And it says, the first thing I saw was, it celebrates resurrection. And these are two words that God spoke to me since I've been on my sabbatical: celebrate, and in one form or another, resurrection, rebirth, renaissance, words like that. So I'm, again, completely in awe, and it's all tying. It's funny how he can pull so many things from leading you to one, maybe through a dream or a vision or a word, and then you just sit with him, and he is able to compound that and add to it and give you something. And what I'm giving you, I'll tell you, it's just the encouragement of it. But it says, Psalm 30 and 5. Remember, I talked about the number 305. For his anger is but for a moment. His favor is for life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That scripture just brings back so much memory for me over my life. You know, you grew up in church, you hear it. Weeping may, and we had a song we sang, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And times when life is hard and you just hold on and you just believe. And I often talk about I love the word, but another scripture that I have held on to for dear life, and that was Psalm 27 and 13, which says, I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living. And then 14 goes on to say, wait on the Lord, be of good courage. He shall strengthen your heart. I say to you, wait on the Lord. Many times what we have to push through, long for, wait for, God has a bigger purpose for it. There is a reason. Many times it is to grow us, and maybe the things that we're even waiting for, they have to be developed as well. But God is mindful of us. He loves us more than we could ever know, and many reject it because sometimes we just don't understand it. But for me, this was just another layer of, if you make room for the Lord, whatever that looks like, you'll discover that he's always been there. He's always been talking. And since I've been on sabbatical, he has just been overloading me with things. And also realize that it's timing. There's a lot coming, good and bad. But for those that have stayed on course, on track, God has much reward. There will be much celebration. I declare and decree that there will be resurrection in so many areas. Things that were dead, he is going to make alive again. So don't lose your hope. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. That dream, I saw me climbing a mountain, and I didn't get the feeling it was an exasperating climb. It was just flowing, climbing up a mountain and being invited by the King of Kings to ascend, to rise up. I still believe in miracles. I challenge you to never lose your childlike faith. The world can beat it out of you, I know. But you have to make a decision that you won't look at what you see in the natural, that you will believe the God of miracles. And I couldn't help and can't help but to think of a song. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. And then the song goes on to say the sky's the limit, but I'm telling you, the sky is not the limit because God is above the sky. Change the words on that one. But God is able, and He is, and He is willing. And I'm going to leave this message with this because I've been saying this, found myself saying it over and over. I am 55 years old. And I told my kids recently, I have drawn a line in the sand, another one. And I'm either halfway through or two-thirds in and got a third left. Whatever this is next for me, it's going to be all God's doing. My hands are off. I have let go. And that doesn't mean not having responsibility, but there are many things that God has let me know it's not your responsibility. And I'm going to live to see what God has ordained for my life. And part of that is giving it out to others. It's not a selfish thing because God is not selfish. He always has a bigger plan. But I just challenge you to let go and let God. Let Him wow you. Let Him astound you. Let Him show you what He can do when you take your hands off of it. So be blessed. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord be gracious to you. May the Lord lift His countenance upon you and give you His peace. Peace. Climb. God is saying, ascend.